take over a minute to actually set up the live stream properly. Huh. To be fair, the streams I've been doing lately have been almost exclusively based around Nintendo, or just throwing my web browser onto OBS and calling it a day, so I suppose it's to be expected to an extent, but still, kind of surprising. Either way, no sense fretting about that now, because, ladies and gentlemen, behold the game that I have been spending the last, well, little over a month just playing to the near exclusion of almost everything else. Well, I've been shaking that up a little bit lately, but we can talk about that more towards the end. So, short version, if you're, well, for the regulars, we are, well, since that I'm looking to spend a lot of time with Fire Emblem Fortune's Weave once that releases. I'm not committing to any one particular game right now. And as a result, well, I'm doing a series of one-offs, and since I just put out a response video looking at someone's hot take on Palworld, I figured, you know what? It'd be fun to show off what exactly I've been up to in the game, and use it as an opportunity to just talk through everything that's been added, talk through pretty much everything that they've thrown in since then, and just walk through pretty much what you're allowed to do, all that fun stuff. So, may as well go ahead and get started. So, welcome to my base. I build pure practical most of the time, so it's usually... Oh, how do I have better on... Hey, come on, you can go work on... You can work on the handiwork piece, you know, too. Never mind that. But this is a second level that I... Well, technically third that I set up to handle construction. I'm tempted to build this out a little bit to where a lot of what's down here may end up getting decommissioned, since that a lot of this has been built out into its own little section that can be largely left alone, but I may as well show that off too, because there's a lot that they've added to this game. If you just go to the technology section, to put that things into perspective, the level cap used to be 40. You earned technology points from leveling up typically, but you could also earn them nowadays through either, well, I think you could earn them through hitting one of these fast travel points, but you can also earn them through finding stuff out in the world, as well as purchasing them to an extent, and we'll talk through a little bit about that as well. But there is a lot that they've added to this game since its release. It is honestly kind of staggering. So I guess to show off some of that, best way to start is to just start going through the bases I've set up, just to give a sense for all that. Hey Gray, how you doing? So, this is a base I set up for mining. It's got a lettuce and tomato plot that I can use to ensure that it remains stocked on food without having to worry too much, but for the most part, we have almost exclusively mining pals, as well as some that are geared towards smelting and whatnot, as you would expect. As per usual, the slow step is the ice part, but I guess that's to be expected. So if you're not familiar with this game, you have, well, it is a game in which you go around catching creatures and all that fun stuff, but the primary gimmick outside of that is, instead of just having them battle each other and that being the game, you instead treat it as a survival game, where you have a ton of different, well, where you have a ton of different proficiencies. Let's go ahead and open this one and I can show it. So you have a bunch of different proficiencies, where this one can be working on medicine, a couple steps when it comes to handling food production, as well as working on building and crafting stuff. So, okay, thanks for asking. How about you? Also, the level cap pre 1.0 was 65. Post 1.0 got increased to, as you know, 80. Well, yes, but when it first released, the level cap was 40. That's what I was used to from it going forward. Oh, hey, this finished up. If I have the materials, now I'll have to go back to my main base. That's fine. So, every PAL has some specific usefulness, and if we just go through here, we also, there's honestly quite a lot of variety to the PALs, given the circumstances, not just in how they interact. Their animations are all different. They've got all sorts of, well, all sorts of character with respect to that, all sorts of different aspects that are worth looking into. For instance, this guy over here doesn't have the best mining suitability, but he's bolstering the mining proficiency of basically every other pal that has mining proficiency, so quite useful. Quite useful indeed. Oh, when it first released, my bad. Not a problem. Not a problem. So, I'm doing quite alright. It's been quite an eventful day. Because just a matter of working on the house and then looking over and seeing, hang on, why is the Palworld video doing this well? Much obliged on that count. We'll talk more about that towards the end. So, this is what I set up as a mining base. This is, I think, the highest level smelter that we can get, to the point that it starts asking for more than just kindling, but also cooling off. I need to get better pals for that. I think that's actually probably one of the better ones that I can assign, right? I could find better, but I'm probably... Oh, right, because it's going to be slower because he has the heavyweight, right? Nope, I'm thinking about a different one. I'm thinking Musclehead. So that's another thing you get to consider, that each pal has different passive skills that are largely randomly generated. So I guess if I sort by... Well, I think I sort by this. These are ones where you have a few that are labeled as lucky, where, hey, they're just really useful. And then you also have other passives that you can find out in the world where this one is technically useless on this particular pal, as there are particular pals that you can mount up on. So if I wanted to go, you know what, I may as well show that off. So if I want to go check out that nature preserve over there, I can just go flying about. And thankfully this is one of the faster ones to where we can go over there relatively expediently. Although I do need to be careful, as these over here have... What's it called? Yes, those over there. Those are level 80. They see you, they will utterly roast you. And unfortunately, my armor isn't quite up to snuff. Ooh, fishing spots. There's usually good fish over here. May as well see to this real quick while I continue talking through everything. Alright, let me just get my fishing rod out. Yeah. I'm glad it's doing well. It's a good video. Much appreciated. Alrighty, so the fishing minigame itself is relatively straightforward. I don't know when exactly it was introduced. Bear in mind that my primary context for Palworld... Whoa! Don't see that very often. Nice. My primary context for Palworld is the original early access release, as opposed to the full 1.0 release, so those are the primary points of comparison that I have to work with. Get out of the way, Daydream. Either way. So, because of that, I'm sure there's plenty that was added in between, such as different parts of the world that were added in that I simply didn't explore all that much. But just going from the original early access release to this, I mean, we can just show it on the map real quick, that this place is bloody massive. I think it was originally just this section in its entirety. I can't recall if the desert was present, but I know the mountain was. I think this might have been present. I don't know if the desert was. I know everything down here was not. And I'm pretty sure there was this small segment that also wasn't put in either. And what was added with 1.0 was an entire separate section where you can go into what they call the world trees. So off in, yeah, that large tree over there, now we can go actually fly to it. Fun times abound. So, all sorts that's been added since. And so, very much a survival game in the sense that you build a base, you defend it from occasional raids, which don't happen too often. I think I'd be more afraid of PvP if I were on a server than I would be if... well, than I would be from the periodic raids. Although I'm also not doing anything that is ostensibly illegal. Also, hang on a minute, I need to unplug my controller. You do not need to hear the rumble pad the whole time from my controller. There we go. Sorry about that. But they've added quite a lot. So, we've got this entire section. Let's see, I've already got maxed out Fanglope. Is there anything I want to catch while I'm here apart from just showing things off? As long as I don't get into the red spotlights, we're fine. Doesn't look like there's anything I haven't caught here, because I have stopped by occasionally to go and grab the boss pal over that direction, though I guess we may as well show that off next, because we've only seen one of, well, technically two of my bases. One thing I don't like about 1.0 is that it removed a note that gave an in-universe explanation for why the nature reserves are defended. Wait, really? Huh. Interesting. They removed that note? Actually, now that I think of it, how many of the notes do I have right now? I think they're in Survival Guide? No. I'm trying to remember where the... Okay, no, it's the journals, right? Wow, I actually don't have all that many yet. Huh. There is a lot about this game that I have yet to fully explore. I think I've put somewhere in the range of 80 to 90 hours into this game since it released out of early access. I don't think I've even... It feels like in some respects I haven't even scratched the surface, where there's just a lot that can be seen to. The fact... Well, and I guess we can go ahead and showcase that by going to another base. Let me just set something real quick for the research station. And I can show that off properly. Because I think most of my resources are being redirected here. So I wanted to work on mining proficiency as well as how quickly I'm getting crude oil. So let's go ahead and set that up. I've mostly been operating by that whenever I have the resources for it, so I haven't been super concerned. Also, these workstations are nice now. So it used to be that it was just set work mode to see how brutally you wanted to treat your pals. Now you can say, oh, I want this pal to not worry about a particular aspect, because I wanted this one to focus on mining and carrying. And then I didn't want you to worry about carrying stuff, because you're not very good at it, so focus on either ice stuff or handiwork or medicine. So you've got that as an option. They give you a lot of opportunities with which to select pals. Also, sorry about how this may look because of the giant sea serpent that is currently watering stuff. So, now that that's set, go ahead and stop by another base. Alrighty, so this is another base I set up which is focused on just getting a bunch of pals, basically. So, where did that come from? Those weren't ones that I caught. I don't recognize that pal. Hang on. Hang on. Since when was that a thing? I thought you would just give me more Frostallion Noct and that would be it. What? Sometimes weird things like that happen. I'm pretty sure those weren't dark eggs that I collected from anywhere either. So that's what's confusing me. But the useful thing about... Well, the useful thing about that is that there are a ton of ways to bolster your pals. One of them is through what they call condensation. So effectively what you can do is you can merge a bunch of pals that you don't need. And you can just all extract them into the same place. It won't do anything for this particular pal until you get fully maxed out, but this gives them a significant boost to their statistics and allows them to be very useful in another mode as well. May as well show that off while we're at it. Okay, so the Frostallion Noct will be hanging around here for a little longer before I swap that out. Actually, there's a meteor crash around here. May as well check that out. Every so often, you'll get... I think they're technically called meteor crashes or sometimes supply drops. Alright, let's just clear out the pals real quick. As you might imagine, yes, this is an utterly broken pal that I have right now. I haven't condensed any pals into it, but I've been using another method in order to upgrade it to where I have plenty. And there's the frame rate dropping the moment I try and pick up too much at once. Good thing this isn't a... Well, good thing this isn't a multiplayer server, or that would induce a decent amount of lag. Let's see, how are these looking? Alright, so go ahead and set more cakes to be made, because that is a necessary resource in order to fill this up. Honestly, looking at that, I could probably make a second one of these and set some more pals to be worked on. Because, let's see. I believe the recipe for the cakes over here was that they needed... Well, I think I've got everything laid out. What would I realistically trade out, though? Let's see, we've got those set up now. The Azure Robe is... Well, the Azure Main, I should say, well, I have upgraded it a little bit so that it could be more useful for this purpose, so maybe I swap out this one for something? I need to swap out two. Scutless probably isn't the most useful. You know what, I may as well make that modification. Let's see, I think it would be under pals? Yes. May as well set a second one up, right? Alright, so let's just go ahead. I should have all the foundations I would need. Relatively simple to build out everything, given the circumstances. Alright, so I can go ahead and mine this away to where it won't spawn anymore, but given that I have plenty of pure quartz in my main chests, it's not as if I need to worry about that. Right, it's in the way because, well, it's not going to let me build that because of the Ragnarok. I do like the names that they came up with. Some of them are quite neat. Alrighty, so let's go ahead and put this down. There we go. Alright, we'll go ahead and let the handiwork pals build that. I can go check on that and set a couple others to work on that later. Meanwhile, upon release, everything was there except for Sakurajima and Faybreak, which each get added in their own updates. 1.0 added Sunreach and, of course, the World Tree. Yep. Let's see. Yeah, the journal entry that was removed was Lily Everhart's Diary 4. In 1.0, it was replaced by a strange note called A Letter Penned in Crude Handwriting. Interesting. Wonder why. Alrighty. Trying to remember why I was coming back here. Well, I guess I can check up on a couple things while I'm at it. So let's see. Oh, perfect. I've got all the soul spheres I need. Ooh, I can start building ancient. Although, real quick, I really need better armor. So I do have lightweight ancient armor. So I need AI cores and corrosive sealant. How many AI cores can I make right now? That is not enough. Okay, so Sorolite is the limiting factor right now. And unfortunately, I can't make any more Sorolite right now because the smelter that can handle both Sorolite and Paloxite is currently in use. So, maybe I shouldn't have thrown so much at the thermal cores. Well, may as well set up to where I can build more, right? And that's what makes this game fun, is that there's always another thing that can be done. Actually, I can build that at a lower tier one, so... that's where my corrosive sealant keeps going. Well, I'll go ahead and set that to spin, and we can just let that work. And then corrosive sealant can be made over here, so let's go ahead and spam. That should be fun. Oh yeah, Lightly Knocked is one of the ones that can stay up all night. Forgot about that. No wonder why people prefer it. Alright, so let's see. Well, if I'm not able to get too much out of that, so how much did I need for that lightweight ancient armor? Okay, so I only need 30 Paloxite ingots? Okay. May as well set this to use up some of them then. Yeah, that should be fine. As long as a few are left, that should be enough. Because these ancient spheres are the best house spheres that I can get, so may as well, right? How are we looking here? Ooh, getting a decent amount. Nice. Let's go ahead and... Oh yeah, I need to try this, because in the comments of the most recent response video I put out, I was informed of something. I am able to stow away items that are already here with just the push of a button. If you go and watch the response video, you'll notice once I get to about the midpoint, I had been going around and just hitting C on a bunch of chests to try and pack stuff in. I didn't need to do that. I didn't need to do that at all. Alright, you need to be on the exclusion list, as will you. And my ammo can go on there as well. Wait, why is... I shouldn't need the arrows anymore. What are those doing there? Also, apologies if my voice doesn't sound good for any reason. It's been giving me grief all day. No matter. Sure. Go ahead and set these up. Let's see. May as well set these to be converted into Aldium fragments, which I use to make Pal spheres. Go Go ahead and add these in. Actually, may as well use these on a pal. Yeah, that should do. And is there anything I want to... Oh, yeah. I wanted to stow these away. Oh, hang on. Oh. Legendary Materials Merchant. You're new. I don't recognize you. Oh, you're one of these guys. Well, actually, we can get bones pretty easily. I don't think there's a way to buy horns, though. Well, you can collect horns, but I don't think you can produce them over at the ranch. So we'll go with that. Since I typically don't... Since I never have enough high-quality pal oil. Well, since I never have enough everything. May as well, right? Just to make sure. And then I don't think I need anything special from these right now. Alrighty. Go ahead and stow those away. Cool. That is so much nicer. How have I gone 127 hours into this game and only just now figured that out? Oh, right, I remembered what I was coming back here originally for. That's the nice thing about this game. You keep going off on different tangents and you keep finding stuff. And keep wanting to do more. Ooh, that's useful. So, there's a few things that you can do to enhance pals. One of them is condensing pals into each other. Another is to go over here and... Wait, you can reset it? Huh, fascinating. Wonder why. Well, either way. Man, that requires a lot to reset, dang. But you can go over here, and if you know that you're going to be bringing a particular pal in, you can just dump a ton of materials into it and call it a day. So, I want to just max out this Daydream's attack. I don't know if it'll affect... Well, I don't know how well it'll affect it, because if I go over here... Because it's just going to sit here no matter, regardless of whether I select it or not, and will continue to just pour out damage on stuff. I don't know if that'll have an effect, but may as well find out. So, since that it can also affect work speed, I should probably be doing that with more of the pals through here. Especially the handiwork ones, given that this is the main place where handiwork is happening. And that's the other cool thing about this game, is that it feels as if every time I think of... Well, it feels like I'm only scratching the surface on what I'm capable of, to where I think I've got a good grasp on how things are going, and then I actually look at what people are doing and how they're engaged. Well, I look at how they're optimizing their bases, I look at how they're optimizing their pals, I look at how they're taking on all sorts of crazy challenges, and my gosh. I mean, let me just put it another way. So, as part of the updates, they added a way to engage in raid battles of sorts. So if I just click on one of these, I'll go for the one that I know I can take down. You can just either spawn it in right then and there, or give yourself a small area where you can just fight it out. So I'm just going to give myself a small area where I can fight it out. Naturally, it's going to be showing all of the high-level stuff that I've been retrieving elsewhere. Yeah, that should be fun. So... Now, the original number of base pals to get set was 15. I bumped it up to 20 in the world settings, so I'll be respecting that to an extent. So, let's just give you a sense for what these raid battles can be like. So, everything coming down, and already a bunch of my pals just got blown up. So, let's just go through here. This is the brute force method that you really shouldn't be using. And it looks like I might need to turn down the audio volume now that I'm actually in a fight. Give me a sec. Alright, that should help. I'm probably doing absolutely nothing to this boss, even throwing out what I am. But it is slowly being whittled down. Just watching your pals go to town, basically. And getting to contribute a little bit with the weapons you have in play. Although, as you can probably tell, I don't have a lot of the super high-end late-game weapons, so... That thing's about to explode, isn't it? Oh wait, no, it got stunned. Right. I was able to beat the game without even unlocking Hexiolite armor or using late-game weapons because I used items and other mechanics to prioritize upgrading my main pals. Yeah, and that's the neat part about this, is that you have all sorts of options in which to do pretty much any kind of update you want. Well, approach the game basically any way you want, and can get all sorts of cool stuff out of it. Ah, jeez. I just realized I'm really low health, and my Celine just got knocked over. Let me go. Oh! Alright, here's what we're gonna do. Please heal. Did that actually take effect? Well, let's bring out the Jormuntide and let it have fun. Don't try this at home, kids. Oh, geez, I almost got blown up. I should have some... Nope, I stowed away the healing items. Well... Hello, Pokestores. How you doing? What else is Chap been up to while we're letting the pals take care of this? My favorite aspect of the game is when it comes to building your character. You can choose to have the main damage dealer be yourself or your pal. Yep, there's all sorts you can do with this. I'm gonna get blown up before I can redeploy pals, but it's okay, because it'll be fun. Oh wait, hang on. I just realized I deployed Panthalus to this. I wonder how that'll go. I haven't tried deploying Panthalus at any point. Maybe I should for the final boss fight. Maybe I should, because I've equipped what I think I'm gonna take as my quote-unquote final team. Where's Panthalus? Did it get blown up? Okay, so it just got reduced to 1 HP and then had the phase 2. This isn't even my final form bit. I just realized the frame rate's starting to chug a little bit. Maybe I should knock down a setting. Well, Panthalus is still standing, so credit where it's due on that one. Although, to be fair, it hovers up above for the most part, so that might be a good reason why. Oh yeah, because if you're hanging out over there, you are likely well beyond its range, especially since Panthalus's whole gimmick when it's assigned to a base is that it just hovers there, murdering everything that comes near you. Okay, why am I getting put into a cyclone? Excuse me while I go over this way. Huh, it even darkened my screen a little bit. Neat. Oh, there we go. And then we get a bunch of rewards from it. Hang on, I thought I saw something. Alright, now, where the heck is my... There it is. Okay, now we're good. And that'll get me an egg so that I can have that creature at my base. Alright, let's go ahead and... Actually, let me pull in a Lylene real quick. I'll pull in a Lylene that isn't dead. There should be one in here. Actually, probably easier to find it by Palpedia number. And working backwards. Lylene. Trying to remember where... There we are. There's one that's not dead. Okay. I'll go ahead and use Harvest Goddess to get Jormuntide and Celine back up. And we just go retrieve the one I intend to bring to the final battle. Did I skip over it again? I feel like I did. It can take a bit to sift through everything. I should probably mark these. Alright. There we go. Believe it or not, but I beat every main story boss using an alpha Gillette. The first alpha palette the main story requires you to catch at the beginning of the game. Yep, and that is the thing. I've seen some very amusing clips of someone just maxing out a Depresso and then just watching it literally one-shot everything in the surrounding area. There is some hilarious stuff that you can do with this game. Alrighty, so... Whoops. Alright. No, oh yeah, those are the ones to not stow. Alright, cool. Go ahead and stow those. I'll have a little bit that I'll need to put in, but that's okay. I didn't have any applied gathering. Interesting. And then I usually use these as soon as I get them. There we go. Alright, we can stop by the breeding base real quick in order to deposit this egg. Then I can show off the fourth and final base. Use that as a chance to show some of what I'm doing from moment to moment, as it were, apart from just base management in general. Alright, collect. Now that's what I expected. Alright, set. Actually, that should be all the Frostallion I need for a fully condensed one, right? Yes, it is, I think. Right? Yeah, that should be all I need. May as well tamper with things here anyway. Okay, so you two can be stowed away. I think... Do I want the... You know what? I've got the surgery table if I want to mess with the passive skills. So I think I'll let you be the fully condensed one. Let's go ahead and do that real quick. And that is the nice thing that it preserves condensation throughout. So we won't do anything... Alright, we won't fuse that one in case we need to do more breeding in future. But once those are done, we can just fuse 1 and 2, the final Frostallion Noct, and that'll be good. Alrighty. So, do I have 2 Jet... Ooh, I can start raising Jet Dragon. Okay, let's start there. Alright, and then assign one of them to a breeding farm. And you can get all sorts of crazy combinations depending on what you want to do with these. And, alright, so you and... Let's swap out that. And then go ahead and move you two over here. I guess we'll have the 2 Lucky Lamb Ball so that I can fully fuse a Lamb Ball. They'll be tempted to go over and... looks like they're trying to do movements, because honestly, you get all sorts of silliness depending on how creatures move things around. You'll have the Lamb Ball that just put them on their head like you just saw. You'll have Sekhmet, whom you'll see clipped everywhere if you go onto places like Twitter or Instagram, which will effectively just skip along and literally toss them into the air, which is perfectly fine if they're not swords, I suppose, but then they'll do it for swords too, because why the hell not? There's all sorts of character to the pals. All sorts of character. Alrighty, there we go. Okay, so they're at 84% right now. The Fanglope is currently idle, so in theory there's nothing too concerning to worry about right now, which is good. How did I end up producing this many berries? Jeez. Well, speaking of berry production, let's go over to the 4th and final base. Yeah, I love how you can use whatever pal you want for the whole game as long as you put in the time and effort to strengthen it. I've also seen some people use the game mechanics in unintended ways to create some truly crazy things. I'll post an example in the Discord if you're interested. Oh yeah, go ahead. I'm planning on doing a React stream next week that'll include stuff related to Palworld, so yeah, go ahead. That'll be fun. Alrighty, so you're still working on... Did I get a stronger fire pal than you? I think I had... Yeah, I had included Gangler Ignis as the fire pal for this area, but I'm wondering if it makes sense to use a different one. Oh, actually. Well, the other reason was because I could set you up as also a water pal for when there's not stuff going on. And that's the downside of using Jormuntide Ignis, or I guess Flerical would have a little bit to work on. It's not as if Blasmut would... There's still transporting needs, I suppose. May as well. I think I've assigned another Flerical over to my mining base, so... Yep, slight improvement. And if I really care more, I can go over to that Anubis statue and do yet more. Oh yeah, that reminds me, I need to start building proper resorts outside of what we got here. All in due time. There's always another thing I can work on. Also, real quick. What do I have? Oh yeah, I wanted to go looking for technology points, because I think the main thing I'll want before I try and take on the final area. Explosion resistant. Ooh. Interesting. I wonder where I get that explosion-resistant fiber. Is that something I have to produce? Presumably. Yeah, I think I do want the drone launcher, although... just so that I can bulk up my own damage. Maybe the plasma rifle would... well, That's a lot to spend on ammo, though, is the thing. I do want something more potent as far as my own weaponry, though. Well, I do need the technology points, so I may as well show what I'm doing for that as well. Okay, so... throughout the world, alongside just going after the particular pals... oh, that's 60 FPS, love it. So, alongside the pals that you can go after as mini-boss fights, you can also go after human opponents that will be marked as bounties. So, we're currently over here. So, this is, I think, the highest level island where you actually can find bounties, because I think this over here is Sunreach, you can't find any bounties, nor can you find them over at the World Tree. So, what I'll typically do if I need to build up technology points is I can take in the successful bounty completion tokens that I get from taking them down, walk over to a human settlement, and then turn them in to get technology points, basically. So, yes. So anyway, I started blasting. We get the music sting for all of 5 seconds as I break him. And we can go over to the next spot. Also, if you notice the numbers underneath Frostallion's name there, it's a little hard to move my... I can sort of move my cursor closer to him, but... you see the numbers over by there. That's part of an accessory I have that lets me see those. I think I can bump those numbers up too as well. Okay, it's sent. I put it in general. I'm excited to see the Palworld React stream. I posted a video of the React submissions, which is one of the best made and researched Palworld lore videos. Yep, that is on the docket to check out. I've also, well, as it turns out, the person who posted to Twitter that got me down the rabbit hole with respect to that response video ended up actually posting a YouTube comment, and it turns out that he has a channel where he's talked about the subject of that video as well. So I think it may be worth looking at his channel to see that back in June he was apparently quick to the draw on calling out the guy for being silly. So I think it'd be worth checking out that as part of a React stream next week too. And given how long it took to get through the 2 videos we brought out last time, that might end up doing it as far as what we look at. Oh yeah, I have to worry about the anti-air guns occasionally, but thankfully... oh, I'm going the wrong direction anyway. Alright, drop to the ground real quick. Thankfully, Frostallion is relatively quick, so... oh right, now I remember. You're my target. Goodbye. Honestly, given that there are... well, what's it called? Given that there are... yeah, it's fine, I'm not going to be in the air long. Given that there are hard mode versions of the boss fights, there's part of me that's... ooh, a rampaging one. So, these are ones that you can't catch, but which offer... well, which offer unique materials that you can use in order to upgrade yourself. So, the Giant Pal Soul, as well as the Predator Core. So the Predator Core is the key one to upgrade yourself. Alright. There's the bounty over here. Huh. I don't remember you ever summoning a pal. Why just knock you out before you can bring it out? Maybe. And it looks like the dungeon that I sometimes go to is blocked off over there. Let's see. The watchtower is probably the closest, so you can go ahead and fly over there real quick. I love how each bounty in this game has their own backstory you can learn from the intel dealers, which give an explanation as to why they're wanted. My favorite is the one who's wanted for being a pineapple on pizza enthusiast. Yep. And the nice thing about those is that if you haven't gone to one of these towers in order to reveal all of the map, it'll tell you where on the map they can be found. It's not just a matter of, hey, go over to this spot, which they do say he's hanging out over at a particular point, but they will also then put it on your map, which is very convenient. There's a lot of little things like that, as far as quality of life is concerned, that really do make this game much, well, quite pleasant to play. Don't have to think as much on... Well, you don't have to fiddle with menus unless you really want to. I think that's probably the best way to put it. If you want to spend all your time min-maxing at base, you can, but for the most part, unless there's an upgrade that I really want or a piece of equipment that I really want, there's been very few cases where I've just been sat there just staring at, what's it called? Just staring at a workbench. That's the really nice thing, because you'd expect that to be fairly common in a survival game. And to an extent that I did act as such when the game came out in early access, but still. Oh, actually, while I'm here, I should set an expedition. I've been forgetting to come up here and do these, especially since this is my best source for soul spheres right now. Ooh, more Sorelight. Alrighty, let me just set this real quick. I can use these to gather more resources. Let's go ahead. Take a look by expedition firepower. As expected. As expected, the most recent one. Yep, may as well auto-assign it. I'll need to remember to mess with you later, but if I back out real quick. Yep, as you would expect. The Hell Zephyr that I nearly maxed out, that I used as my main flyer until I got Frostallion, and then Frostallion knocked, which also a 3-star. So, yeah, one of the reasons why you would want to condense pals, just to make the most of this system, if nothing else. Alrighty, so, go ahead and do this. Let me just take a swig real quick. Actually, while I'm at a lull... oh yeah, I should save that for... Oh yeah, the craziness that you put into Discord. I should save that for the React stream. There's all sorts of craziness that people have done with this game. Been fun to look at. Alrighty, so you can go ahead and see stored over here. Alright, so there won't be any of that. I guess I can hang on to the egg for now. Oh yeah, I remembered what I was coming here for. Wanted to grab all of these. May as well sell these while I'm at it. Why are these getting dumped into here? I thought I marked this out as a particular box. Oh, I just excluded spheres and nothing else. Okay, that's just me being dumb then. No sense fretting over it. Actually, can I make more thermal cores while I'm here? May as well, right? May as well. Alright, thermal core. Because I think it was for the sake of building the particular armor I had in mind, right? So... yeah, and in order to build more AI cores, I needed more thermals. And then it was also to build more of that, which I need more thermal cores. We require additional pylons, yada yada yada. And that should be sufficient. And then I can spend the rest of those fire organs. Yeah, that should be fine. That way I can build more computers once all that gets produced. Should be just fine. Alrighty. So, did I grab the bounty tokens? Yes, I did. Cool. Actually, neither of these should be excluded. I don't know where I want to put those, so I'll just have that. Good that it doesn't stack on anything that you don't already have present, so that gives you a chance to look over and see, okay, what do I want to be stowed away? Quite useful. Fun fact about that bounty you took on a while ago, namely Ram. It was originally much harder prior to 1.0, as he was hidden underground and dealt a lot more damage with his minigun. I believe it, because the normal minigame Syndicate grunts alone can be rather nasty to deal with, so that does not surprise me in this. Wow, you get nothing for selling these. Not that I need them anymore, as I've got everything as far as the ancient tech tree maxed out. I think. What I missed? Okay, it's just being weird as I scroll up. I wonder if that's because Linux or because game. Either way. Main reason for this trip, though. Bam. Alright. Ancient material synthesizer. I wonder if that would be worth her. I did want the drone launcher and maybe the plasma rifle. I'm assuming that this can't be used to produce paloxite. I would assume it can't. But I kind of want to see if it can. Yeah, let's go ahead and find out. Let's go and find out. I don't know if I even can produce anything right now, though if I could just produce... Let's see, do I have enough? I'll need to get more paloxite, but I guess we'll set this to build while I'm gone. Especially since I should have... Oh yeah, I pulled all of my handcrafting pals over to build stuff. I am intelligent. Real quick. Oh yeah, I may as well have you work on the Coralia more. Whenever you can spare the time. Oh, cool. Let's see, I should be able to build the last AI core I need. Think? Nope, I need more sewer lights. Okay, that's the limiting factor. Very well. How's the mining base looking then? Because that was the reason I wanted to build that, right? Okay, so I'll need to build some computers as well. Oh, cool. That's done. Okay, so you're still working on the paloxite. Alright, we'll leave you alone for now. Anything worth doing over here? I guess you can work on this for a bit, since I've got a decent number of flame pals. Oh, wow, I'm actually running low on these? Let's fix that. Yeah, go for it. There we go. Alright. What was I wanting to do again? Well, actually, given the circumstances... Oh, right, I wanted to check to see what I needed as far as another ancient furnace. I think I just needed computers now. Actually, if I'm not reducing AI cores right now, I probably should be setting it to build something else, right? Let's get some of the carbon fiber, since I'm pretty sure I'll need more of that. Ah, bio battery. Well, may as well work on that. Perfect. I guess that can be what that works on for now. And it should have, yep, should have pulled from my inventory, which it did. Alright. Send that to where it needs to go. We can put the bounties back. Assuming the place doesn't get flooded with garbage, I need to mess with the filter on that. Alright. So I guess then we may as well go explore in the world tree now that I should have all that I need with respect to that. Okay, so go ahead and mess with this real quick. Collect all hatched. Alright, that should be all the Frostallion Noct I need. Alright, so... Huh. Alright, so not enough cake over there. Presumably because all the cake's going over in this direction. Let's fix that. That should do. Okay, that gets that out of our inventory. Alrighty, let's go check out the world tree some more. Because I'm at the point where I'm pretty close to where I can complete the final, well, complete the final battle, at least from a story standpoint, but they've put this barrier in the way. And my assumption is, I can see 2 spots over here that I can enter into. So my assumption is that there may be those 2 as well as potentially one over this way, where I will need to explicitly go in there and make and actively fight something. Or at least explore something in order to shut that field down. That's my expectation anyway. So, my thinking is, right now, my main objective here is just to get more pals and more stuff. So, Peroxide, let's see. Let's go ahead and knock you guys out before you start interfering with the fight I'm about to get into. Alright, so, the last time I went through here, I tried capturing you, and it didn't go so well, because Frostallion just took you out way too damn fast. So, we're gonna bring Celine out, who is not super ultra powerful. Wait, you have that move too? Naturally not as powerful, but I do like the music for this area. Quite nice. It's so much easier to fight this when I don't have other pals interfering. Okay, Celine just took a decent hit. Let's go ahead and start throwing the spears. I don't have any ancient spears, so this might take a bit, but every time it fails, just whittle down health a bit more. Oh geez, haven't seen that move before. Good thing I had my shields. Oh geez. Okay, at this point we're just throwing spheres and hoping it eventually catches. I really should have ancient spears at this point. I should have checked to see if any of them are done. Ow. Yeah, the Rain Syndicate are by far the hardest faction to fight due to the oil rigs, especially the one west of Fabric. If you know, you know. Yeah, the minigunners especially, for whatever reason, they just keep hitting and they just keep hurting. It is the worst. Would you please get in the damn ball? Oh, spears, sorry. We aren't Pokemon. Okay. I fire one bullet and then it's almost too much. Get in the stinkin'! I had an easier time catching Mewtwo in X and Y than this. And that was something my brother and I did within the last few weeks. We've been playing X and Y on our spare time just for fun. I was curious about it with Legends EA coming up, and neat ideas there, Ian, but still, it is very much a Pokemon game. How many spheres do you need? I just wanted to catch you once. Is that too much to bloody ask? I'm gonna burn every soul sphere that I got from the expedition. That's my main source of them. The only reason I can justify exploring through here is because I have the ancient spheres. What? Well, the soul spheres. Why? Finally! Ugh. Oh no, you referred to it as a ball. Now Nintendo's gonna sue you. Oh man. Rampaging Polaris Aqua? Frostallion? Would you be so... Actually, wait, no. Jormuntide would probably make more sense for this, since that its abilities would hit more. Get him, boy! No, I don't. Alright, get him, boy! Oh, there goes. Looks like the Polaris is already full. Wait, how is my Jormuntide already at half? Yeah, I need better guns. There we go. That's the stuff. Good work, Frostallion. Ooh, frame drop. That is something to note, that the World Tree and Sunreach do seem to be noticeably weaker in terms of performance. It's just, and I think in that case it's just a matter of there being more stuff going on, less so than it being just, well, they do a lot in order to make sure everything's properly optimized, and it is to their credit that it is as optimized as it is, to where despite streaming Oh, geez, that still killed the normal one? Oof. Wow. Well, I've got plenty of Polaris Aqua from Faybreak, so I guess you're getting killed too. It is to their credit that the game is as optimized as it is. And it is a minor miracle that it is so optimized, even if it may not appear so when you occasionally see a frame drop. But bear in mind, my computer is mid-range. And bear in mind, I'm on a Linux PC. And bear in mind, I'm also streaming and recording right now, which is going to have a noticeable impact. The fact that it is as optimized as it is a minor miracle. They really did put the work in to make sure that this can withstand. And to be fair, when you're looking at the multiplayer instances and when you've got a lot that they're having to pick up at once like that, they really did have to put in the work to make sure everything was fine. So it is very much to their credit that it is as optimized as it is. Oh dear, fishing spots. The fishing spots here are annoying. Honestly, I'm not a big fan of the fishing minigame. I guess the simplest way that I can put it is that I got incredibly spoiled by Stardew Valley's implementation of the fishing minigame to where, honestly, I just really like it. Because it's got a nice feel when you're going up and down. You've got a little bit of a bounce with a vertical bar. It's just a really nice fishing minigame. I think I've got a line in my Fire Emblem Engage review whenever I can finish that up, where I just make a joke about how if we could all just collectively rip off Stardew Valley's attempt at the fishing minigame and just not do anything else, I'd be much obliged, because it is a really nice fishing minigame. And this one's fine. It's a little weird to have it constantly move to the... Well, it's a little weird in that you can't have it stay still unless it is... I'm not going to worry too much about the others. It's a little weird that you can't have it just stay to one side. Well, you can have it stay to just one side, but you can't have it neutral in the middle, if that makes any sense. Because if you don't have the button held down, it'll just continuously move left. So you can never feel as if you can get into a proper cadence in that sense, but honestly, that's really the only complaint I have regarding it. And the fact that some of the fish are absurdly sporadic. I'm pretty sure there's some sort of thing... Well, I'm pretty sure there's some sort of meal that I can get in order to make it easier to... Actually, wait, you took out the last Polaris. I'll take the risk. Sup! Getting the stinking sphere. Nice. That takes care of that. You're gonna keep attacking me, presumably? Although you did piss off the wild Celine, so... And that is the other nice thing, is that we may be able to see a little bit of it, that, especially here in the World Tree, where you can see that if a pal gets caught in collateral damage, it'll go after whatever attacked it. And there are certain pals that will, as soon as they see each other, actively mess with each other. Which is really nice. Alright, I don't have too many with Stella, as you can see. Let's start catching. Although I'm about to max out my carrying capacity. I might need to fix that. Getting them. Oh, did I piss off the other with Stella? Yeah, it looks it. Alright, let's go deal with it then. Ooh, I don't... Oh, there was one of the pals I caught while fishing. Alright. I play on Xbox One, and the only time I get frame drops are when a bunch of large pals attack and go off. Well, large pal attacks go off, and when I destroy an ore deposit and pick up all the ore at once. Fair enough. That makes sense. I mean, you can see the frame drops to... Well, you may be able to see the frame drops depending on how well things are carrying over in the stream. Should be carrying over in the VOD, hopefully, but... I guess I'll find out when I'm looking over this, right? Alright, there's one. I'm kind of surprised that didn't kill it with how much I was spamming. Get in them! Don't you dare mimic that dragon. It's a good thing Daydream can't deal a killing blow in this mode. Thank you. Alright, I think that's enough exploration for now. I've only got 10 soul spheres left and I've almost maxed out my carrying capacity, so we'll just drop down. Head back to base. See what the status of those pal spheres are. Well, see what the status of my ancient spheres are. I like the fishing minigame for what it is. It can be made easier with better fishing rods, and the whale pals have passes which make the minigame easier. Okay, so it's on that. Interesting. I can produce corallium with this. Oh, that's useful. Oh, that's useful. Required suitability. 6 mining, huh? Okay. So you're worth putting over at the mining base so that I can... Yeah, actually, yes. This is worth putting over at the mining base so that I can produce corallium on a more regular basis. Okay, yes. Let's do that right now. Let's see. Where would be a good place to put you? Because I've laid out about as much as I can with respect to these. No, I don't just want to shove it somewhere willy-nilly. I say as I look at how my base is currently arranged. Actually, that's not a bad spot. Yeah, that'll do. Okay. Now, apparently I need a bunch of sorelite ingots, so let's go ahead and let's see. I only need 1 sorelite for these. Yeah, that should do. Actually, I should have an extra Frostallion from when I... Let's see, Palpedia number... I should have extra Frostallion, right? Okay, cool. So, maybe worth... Let's see, Walaska will be occasionally... Well, no, we have Surf Vent in order to handle watering right now. Although, do I really need Surf Vent? Because if Walaska has 6... Yeah, let's put a Frostallion in instead. If Walaska has 6 watering... Well, actually, is that my only other watering pal? Yes, it is. Okay, so... You've got better planting and gathering. Although you're also able to mine. How are we doing as far as power? So we've got the Rayhound, which is idle right now. But if you're at the point where the Rayhounds are idle, then I can probably put another watering pal in here. Just to try and... Let's see, so... Let's grab watering. Maybe Walaska Ignis? Oh wait, Walaska Ignis gets freezing and fire instead, sorry. Huh. That's not a bad idea, actually. What else could I do? Yeah, that's a bit overkill. If anything, I'd want that on the other base. Well, over on the... Well, on the food base. Oh, hold up. Okay, yeah, that's what we're going with. That is absolutely what we are going with. That gets us a water pal for whenever we have a spare moment here. And then that'll also replace the Rayhound directly. Alright, perfect. Looks like we got plenty of resources over there. Good. Make sure we've got plenty of Paldium fragments. Okay. The Frostallion is idle right now, huh? Presumably. Yeah, because it only has that to worry about. Walaska and Walaska Ignis both working on it. Although, to be fair, eventually the Walaska will get tired and go work on something else. Oh, hello. What have you got? Okay, standard stuff. Nothing I need to grab right now. Oh yeah, that's just the visitor notification. Alrighty. Yeah. Okay. How am I doing on ammunition? I could use some more grenades. Let's go ahead and set that up real quick. Yeah, that should do. Okay. You okay, Anubis? Alright. Computer. May as well max that out with what I got. I'll need to make more circuit boards. Alright, let's go take care of that real quick. And then let's go and stow the... Let's go stow these away while I'm at it. At this point, I'll need to have something dedicated to this area. Actually, I guess I can have Celine work on that while I'm waiting. Hey. And then I need to work on circuit boards next, so that I can build more computers. Okay, what am I missing? Polymer, I assume? Yep. That should... Yeah, that'll do. Okay, what else needs to be dumped off? Okay, we can throw these in here while we're at it. That should do. Oh yeah, so... How are we looking? Alright, so... Oh right, we only needed one AI core. Well, currently got all those underway. Yeah, I really need to get more... Well, more everything, to be fair. Suppose I could reduce the... Let's see. If you two didn't have to worry as much about planting... Well, Linely Noct in theory takes care of that to an extent, especially since you can work overnight. Since that I've got a planting base, I can probably reduce some of what I'm doing here. I'm not using carrots for much. Wheat I'm using, berries I'm using... Yeah, that should do for now. I can figure out specifics later. And then... Forgot to confirm these when I was showing that off earlier, so we'll go ahead and do that now. Alrighty. Progress. What else do I want to look at? Oh yeah, they wanted me to build a large fishing pond, and I've wanted me to do that for a while. Well, it's not as if I'm using this section. Oh geez. That is big. Well, it's not like I need to worry about any ore collection from or tree collection from over here. May as well just shred these immediately and get to work. There we go. Especially since I'm not using the small fishing pond for much. Yeah, because my pals seldom have time for anything over there. I really do need to bulk up the handiwork pals. Let's see. Yormantide is worthwhile. Let's see, I don't have too many, because you're dedicated to freeze. Remind me what I have for handiwork? Well, I can put a bunch of Selene down. It looks like that might actually make more sense over Lylene Noct, if I don't mind giving up... Yeah, if I don't mind giving up the... Well, no, I may end up needing the medicine production for the spheres, though, is the problem. Although, what could I replace? Maybe replace one of the Bellanor? Let's see... Although transport is also a concern, which you can also do as well, to be fair. Honestly, what it may boil down to is I just need to set up... Well, I may actually just need to... You know what? There's the simple answer. Just work on work speed, right? I've been hesitant to do that on anything that I'm not planning on freezing. Well, on condensing. Because I'm pretty sure I don't get back the Well, actually, it does allow me to refund them if I'm going to be deciding to condense them, so might be worth considering. Alright, ancient kitchen. I'm assuming I don't have that yet. Oh, I can get it. Cool. Sure. Yep, gonna need more solar lights. Well, let's see if it actually is being worked on over there. And while I'm here, I can set this to produce corallium. Let that be another thing that miners can work on. Yeah, I really need to... Well, since that I've got something dedicated to freeze, maybe I can just tell the Walaska to not worry about that. Let's see, is there a better watering pal that I can have? We looked over this a little bit. Yep. Oh wait, that's destructive. Let's go with this. Yeah, that'll probably work better. Because then we'll have Frostallion, who should be able to work on that alone. Assuming that she actually goes over there. I can just... Oh, where's the... Here we are. We can just assign this real quick. So you're just on permanent assignment there. There we go. Should move a little faster. Yes, decently faster. Alright, that should get us plenty of store light by the time I need it. Okay. Actually, while I'm here, let's set something to make sure we're getting enough crude oil as well. You guys have fun with that? Alrighty. What do I want to work on next? Let's see, what makes the most sense? Is there anything I wanted to show off that I haven't yet? Oh yeah, let's go find a dungeon to go into. I don't know if there are any over at... Actually, are there any caves of any sort over in Sunreach? I can't recall if there are. Well, I guess in the meantime I can go find one over in this direction. Let's see, I've marked that off as a possibility. Yeah, because I'll typically mark out wherever I find caves. So I may as well go and show what those are like. Because if I'm also looking for technology points, another way to get a lot of them is to go into cave formations. So, let's go see what lies within. Alrighty, here we are. So, these act as miniature dungeons where you can run around, explore all sorts of stuff. See what kind of trouble you find along the way, and I really should have put those in the boxes before I left, but we'll make do. So we'll go ahead and catch the pals, as one could always use condensation fodder. Or you may find something useful even when there's not the sparklies around it. Alrighty. Well, giant pal souls are always useful, if I'd ever actually use them. And now my cat's demanding attention. Too bad. Alright, Gangler Ignis. I do like the variations that they came up with for all of the pals. Just having slight elemental variations on them. Especially given the sheer number of them. Because you think that you've seen it all, and then... Actually, if I look over at the Palpedia, I'm pretty sure there's... Wait, that's my 5th of those? Really? Huh. Because, yeah, there are a ton of pals. Even if you just go down to the bottom of the list, there is plenty that I have not yet encountered, apparently. Oh, yeah, I'll need to worry about Belenoir Libero eventually. I did see a Xiaolong and a Celine over at the World Tree, but Ended up having trouble catching it. Oh, interesting. Ooh, okay, that's useful. Oh, interesting. Although there's something in between Selene and Aegis Dragon. What are you useful for? Pure mining. Wow. That might be worth... Well, and you drop thermal core. Huh. It might be worth breeding a bunch of you just to throw into the... Well, just to throw into the meat grinder, as it were. That might be worth considering, actually. Wait, why am I wasting my soul spheres on that? At least it's getting caught, I suppose. Wait, why are there a couple knocked out? What was fighting you? I didn't do that. What are the Fabric warriors over there fighting? What is going on? Well, no matter. Let's just keep exploring. Okay, that looks like it's most likely the way forward. Let me just confirm real quick. Yep. Goodbye. Agreed, I like the elemental variants as they add more variety. Also, some can only be obtained through breeding. Wait, really? Huh. I guess that explains why I've been having trouble finding some. If I literally can't find them, that would explain it. Alright, another smoky. Guys, we'll just knock these out for experience. Assuming Frostalion's attacks don't just get thrown in there willy-nilly. Get in them. Thank you. Okay, how was the one that had basically no damage taken? Had no problem. But this one decides to be obstreperous. They weren't all that different in the base stats either. What's going on here? Come on. There you go. Good boy. Oh yeah, there's a bunch of NPCs that I haven't spent too much time with either. Because I think there was one that asked me to get it a bunch of Splatterina that I did see too, though there's plenty of NPCs wandering around that I simply haven't done much interaction with. And to be fair, to an extent, it's not as if there is much interaction to worry about. That is the one drawback of this game, is that there does seem to be a lot they've thought through as far as the world and whatnot, though the world can, to an extent, feel fairly empty at times because you have pockets of civilization here and there, and then almost nothing but just pals wandering around. And to be fair, you'd expect the pals to wander around, but makes you wonder, why didn't I just use a shotgun on the pallium fragments? I mean, it works. I mean, you know what? Here's the funny thing about this game. Here's mining. I have officially mined. Did I get as many pallium fragments as I get when I bust out the plasma multi-cutter? No. Did it work? Yes. And that's what matters, because it's funny. Alrighty. Ooh, Capricorn knocked. Don't see them very often. You get fishing spots here too? Interesting. I'm honestly kind of surprised I didn't kill that. Get in the ball. There we go. Nice and simple. Taking a bit of poison damage from those, but not too big of a deal. So, anything good? Ooh, treasure map. I should show that off. I haven't used one of these in a long time. It gave me a Xenolord slab. Interesting. I don't think I've fought that one yet. Oh, sorry, my mistake. I just double-checked, and there are no pals that can only be obtained through breeding. Okay, that's comforting. but without breeding, they're just harder to find. Well, I'd expect that, to be fair. Apparently, people have been doing all sorts of calculations to see exactly where each one can be found, and apparently it can take a while to find all of them. There's all sorts of crazy combinations you can get that you wouldn't even necessarily think of either. Okay, so that's where the treasure map is. Let's go take a look, see what lies within. Anything good? I wonder what curious fish can be found over that way. Alright, don't need Van Worm Crest, so that's fine. Cool. Did I run out of space? Yeah, it looks like I did. Let's see, what does this improve? Yeah, may as well. Okay. So is there anything that I can dispose of? Okay, I guess I can put these over here. Use these on Lylene. Tempting, actually, but you'll get a decent boost for those later. Alrighty. Joe! What might you have to say for yourself? No, don't chase them all off, Frostallion. I understand why there are only 3 major settlements in the game, as most of the island is intentionally left uninhabited to allow more spots for pals to spawn and bases to be built. Yeah, that's fair. Although, given that this place is set up as a series of remote islands that are largely not interacted with to a greater or lesser extent, and it's not as if, and they do have bases where the Free Pal Alliance will have bases, the Syndicate will have oil rigs. It's not as if there's no civilization or no interaction from anyone. Ooh, Lunker, nice. Ooh, tech manual, nice, even better. Gimme. Still, there is a part of me that wishes there were more NPC interactions, though, as I said in the response video, I suppose if I really cared about that, I can just go replay Legends Arceus or something. I bet I meant to say would not worked, worlds not worked, either way. I think I understood the gist of it regardless. I'd like to think so, anyway. There we go. Alright, that should do for now. Given my inventory right now, I'll probably make a point to head back and dump it off. Oh yeah, and there's also those little blips where you do a small hacking challenge for more blueprints. Which then lets you build all sorts of stuff. And more importantly, upgrades to stuff you already have. Alright, looks like this is already finished. Oh, cool. I can use some of my deluxe bait on here. May as well, although it looks like that's on stuff that I already have. Still, may as well let them have some fun. Whenever the handiwork pals can make time anyway. Although it looks like I should set a pal to focus exclusively on transport right now. I think this is what I set to transport. Because you've got pretty good transport, so I did say that this could retrieve stuff, right? Yeah, that allows transport by pals. Wonder why it wasn't then. Alright, all that gets thrown in. Alrighty. And then here's a list of all the blueprints that I keep collecting. we go. Alrighty. Let's go ahead and dump some of the world tree water off here so I have it to hand. Right here's good. Alright, so remind me. So I was wanting to build that armor as well as another ancient furnace so that I can bulk up how much I'm getting as far as peroxide and all the rest. So, need more circuit boards. I should have the requisite pieces now. You okay? Let's go ahead and make the circuit boards next. I don't think I use polymer for much, so let's go ahead and go overboard on circuits. And then what did I need for the... Oh yeah, just an AI core. I should be able to make that one AI core right now. But since that relies on computers and I need them for a different upgrade, we'll just build the one for now. Ooh, the ancient spheres are ready. Nice. Well, I can't build any more without doing too much. Well, without hurting my supply of that. Guess I'll just have to be patient then. Should have plenty of solar lighting before too long. Actually, how's this looking since that I had assigned Celine here briefly? Ooh, nice. Plenty of stuff. It even gave technical manuals? Nice. I will take that. I will take it. There we go. Stow them all. Oh, wow. Hold on. Presumably that'll allow me to raise it without even condensation. I'm assuming that's what that means. Jeez. Let's go put that down here with the other enhancement items. Alrighty. And, alright, so they just finished producing thermal cores. I've got an egg, so we'll go stop by. I just wish that every settlement had a leader with an in-depth quest line, because as of now, the only character who offers multiple side quests, which also let you learn more about the character, or as you do them, is Zoe Rain. Yeah, in terms of the human characters, there's a lot that they could have done, and that is arguably the biggest missed potential in this game, but still. If that's the biggest complaint I have about a game called Palworld, where it is very much otherwise focused on the pals. Why can I not make cake right now? Where's all the milk going? That would explain it. Great. I thought I told this to not... Okay, don't accept ingredients anymore. Maybe that's the problem. Because you have plenty of baked berries if you need them. These should go over here. Alright, collect. Ooh, Firelink's Terra. Useful. There we go. Okay. I set an extra cow. Well, let's see. I had that here so I could get extra, but... Yeah, let's put an extra cow up, if I have one. And make sure that it gets assigned there properly. There we go. Let's make up for lost ground on that. So, how many pigs do we have right now? You've got plenty still. And you've got plenty still. Okay, cool. Ooh, expedition's done. Nice. It'll be time to go back into the world tree for a bit then. Let's go collect the results from that real quick. Take all. Everything gets stowed away as it should. Actually, I should be able to fuse the remaining Frostallion knots that I was looking for, so let's take care of that real quick. Alright, literally only one more required, so small boost. And then that takes care of that. Nice. Oh, it'll even prevent you from stacking more on. Excellent. This game knows what it's doing, largely speaking. Alrighty. Let's go ahead and see how that looks when we auto-assign. Oh yeah, that's the good stuff. An entire extra 3% just based on that alone. I should finish bulking up Hell Zephyr then on that basis. Quite useful. Alright, they can go work on that. New. Let's see, was there anything else I wanted to work on? Let's see, Yormantide is probably good enough for watering alone. I do want the extra fire. Can I get both fire and kindling from... Well, can I get both kindling and handiwork from something? Oh yeah, Celine. Well. Meow. Hang on. I saw someone do that and had to repeat it. Sorry. I did see one complaint on the video response that that there was some annoyance at the number of anthropomorphized pals that exist. And to be fair, when you have Celine and, well, when you have Celine and Catras and, what's the other ones? And Sekhmet and all sorts of other ones on top of that, yeah, I can see why that would start to grow. I can see why you would start to be a little annoyed that, okay, how many variations can you do on a cat or something that looks very similar to a cat? Or rather, an anthropomorphized cat, I should say. Oh, do I want to take a shot? Well, okay, you know what? I want to see what's over in this direction. We'll go here first. Okay. Well, at least the pals are starting to reach max level outside of the obvious exceptions that already are. So, I guess then, the best test to... Ooh, I see an effigy. I guess the best test to see how things are going would be to go and presumably face what I'll need to in order to... Wonder why the screen went dark. Ooh, this could be fun. Alright, let's get him. Oop. Frame rate's having trouble. Okay. You'll occasionally see nests like this. In hindsight, I probably should have tried to go and catch some of these, but given how many there were, and the fact that we're in the World Tree, and I do not have the best equipment right now. Okay. Okay, I need to just knock down a setting. Graphics. Wait, why is motion blur on? Get that shit out of here. There we go, that's more like it. And it didn't help much, though. How long has that been there? Ugh. Okay, just drop texture quality a bit. Although I think that was mostly an effects issue. It didn't seem to have much of an effect. That helped a little bit. That'll do for now. It won't be as big of an issue when I'm offline again, so we'll just keep things as is. Excuse me while I collect the peroxide. Now, What do we have over here? That's not ominous at all. Actually, wasn't there an effigy that I skipped over while dealing with all that? Let me go confirm real quick. Especially now that I have the fast travel point. Oh yeah, there it is. Cool. There are a bunch of pals fighting each other now? Oh, right. Those two come out at night, I forgot. I've already got plenty of Grisbolt and Lysandra Lux, so I'll just let them fight each other for now. Oh right, I forgot that knocks you off your mount. And took a decent chunk of health off of me thanks to the fall damage. Oof. Is that a journal? It is. Zenara. I'll have to go look up who that is later. I'll be very curious, because Greg, you were the one who posted the recommendation for the Palworld lore video. I'll be curious to see what that channel posts now that Palworld is in 1.0. Because I think I saw that on one of the main comments when I was looking over that, well, when I was doing a quick check of that video to see the runtime. Alright, what have we got here? Join boss battle, huh? I'm sure this will have no negative consequences. Let's jump in. What lies within? Sylvans, huh? Okay. I think I can risk Lylene being thrown in as... Okay, what's that do? Alright, Solar Beam, go! Wow, I'm doing nothing to you. What? Yeah, I'm gonna need stronger weapons than what I got. That's the damage you're doing to my Frost Stallion? Wait, that's an enemy one, isn't it? Alright, presumably I don't want to touch those. Ow! Yeah, that's ensnared me too. Ow! Yeah, I'm just not going to be able to shred you fast enough. And I'm pretty sure spheres aren't going to work either, right? Oh, hang on. That might be my only saving grace. Yep, literally my only saving grace. Holy crap. That was a lot. Wow. Jeez. Well. Huh. Ow. Note to self. Scary. Also, the story of Zenara in 1.0 is explained in a second lore video he made, so if you want, I can post that one too. We'll see what the first one has to say for itself, and then we'll see how things go from there. Because it's not as if we want to just freeboot his video after all. Perhaps we'll start with the first one, see how far we get, and depending on how it goes, it may make sense to say, hey, he's got a second one if you're curious about it, but since... I mean, you see where I am a month later, and I'm only just been able to explore a decent amount of the World Tree, to be fair, but still have a lot of the World Tree to explore. Damn, what a clutch. Yeah, that was close, Ghost. Also, hi, how you doing? I'm honestly surprised I lived that. So, what was that a key item that I got from it? It is. Proof of defeating Sylvans, one of the keys used to remove the barrier of the sealed sanctum located in the deepest part of the world tree. Alright, that makes sense. So presumably... Yep. Actually, here's what I'm curious about. If we're talking pals that are gonna give me plenty of grief, there's a couple over here that I ran into the most recent time I played. Yep, a couple Celestier. Because I believe Celestier you can find normally, but these are... Well, I have not seen Celestier knocked yet, let's put it that way. Let's see if I can catch him this time without getting immediately mauled. Alright, bring out Celine. I just realized I probably shouldn't be fighting this while one of my pals is down, but... Alright. Will it be mine? Better be. Get in the stinking ball. Okay, the one I already have is mine. Cool. Nice. Phew. I've been doing good. Seems you're also having fun. Oh yeah. This game's been great. This game's been really great. I went in with an idea as to what I wanted to focus on with this game, and then I started playing and all that got thrown out of whack immediately. Always a different direction to pull yourself in, for better or worse. Whoops. That's not what I need right now. Alright. Open it up. Okay. Oh, interesting. That's where I get the explosion-resistant fiber? Huh. Fascinating. Wondered what that was related to. Ooh. Fancy. Okay. Guess while I'm here... Oh, interesting. Oh, that'll be fascinating. Nutrient tonic. Interesting. Power generator. Whoa, 20? That's a lot of peroxide ingots, but damn. Huh. What makes the most sense, I wonder? Oh yeah, ancient stand. Huh. Well, if I'm working on the lightweight armor as well, I should probably make sure that my shield is up to par at the same time. Let's focus on this first. Because I should, well, I'll probably end up burning all of my AI cores on the lightweight ancient armor, so we'll see how it turns out. Okay, got that one marked off. Given the amount I collected from that raid, probably should go... Oh yeah, there'll be that landmark I need to deal with soon. Do I need to knock down another setting? Yes, I know I'm streaming. Why do you ask, computer? Struggling under the weight of it. To be fair, the fact that it takes getting to Sunreach of the World Tree before my computer starts having problems, good to see. Alright. Stow it all away. Need to find another spot for these in particular, and that's okay. Can set my Celine to work on a variety of stuff while we're waiting. Oh, cool. Okay. Alright, so I believe now I should be able to produce that armor. Unless it was something else. Actually, knowing my luck, it'll have to be produced over here, right? Yep. Because what do I have on right now as a reminder to myself? Okay, Hexalite, right. So, decent defense, but... Let's see. How's it compare exactly? Still useful. Why did I want for 7? trying to remember what the purpose of getting 7 specifically was. That was probably a different upgrade I'll need. I'll be producing a bunch of stuff regardless, so should work out well enough. Okay. I'll just let that sit, and eventually that'll be ready. Now, I wanted to build a bunch of computers, right? Well, I could get... If I remember correctly, I wanted to build another ancient furnace. Yep. I wanted to build another ancient furnace so that I could get more... So that I could have sorolite and paloxite being worked on at the same time. Perfect. Also, how is AI core production going? It exists, sometimes. Yeah, it takes a while, doesn't it? Just working on the components. I maxed out a... Actually, you know what? Give me a... Well, I'm not sure it'll make that much of a difference, but I did max out a flam bell a while back. I may as well. Over here. I maxed out a flam bell a while back for the sake of getting flame organs faster. I don't think work speed affects ranching, but just in case I'm wrong. There we go. Ooh, Flarical's already done with the armor. Nice. Alright, let's make sure that you go over to where you need to. And to be fair, presumably the reason you're asking about AI core production is because it can take a while with how things turn out, but given the circumstances, the fact that there's still so much more that I can do, I haven't really noticed there being a major concern with there being a particular bottleneck. Maybe I'm just not paying enough attention, perhaps, but for me, plasteel is a pain in the butt. I'm just at level 55. Yeah, plasteel took a while. It was even worse for me because I forewent a lot of the upgrades that would get you a hell of a lot more. Oh, actually. I could use more crude oil. How am I doing? Well, I mean, you saw how much plasteel I'm getting now. If I'm gonna end up needing to throw it at more stuff. You know what? I may as well stop by my other bases anyway, just to set that up. Okay. But yeah, plasteel is a major concern. Alright, I need to actually grab the stuff I need. I am intelligent. How are we looking here? Alright. I should speed up this Frostallion's work speed at this rate. All in due course. All in due time. Alright, so you guys should be good for a while. Actually, I may as well... You know what? I'll make that the next task, because I need more Frostallions so that I can start a breeding program to get more condensed. I'll want that both for the one that I'll be taking into the tower battle. Ah, there's the 60 FPS I was looking for. Just needed to go somewhere where there weren't 20 pals wandering about. So we'll capture one over here real quick. Sup? I want a Fran for my current Frostallion. There we go. Perfect. Not bad at all. But yeah, there's always a bottleneck as far as resources. I suppose AI core will be more noticeable because there's a lot of intermediate steps. But for the most part, it hasn't been that much of a concern right yet, at least right now. Okay, how are we looking over here? So since that I increased the milk production, alright, there we go. Now we're actually getting a return on that. I guess while we're waiting, you guys can get... Yeah, I guess you guys can work on that for now, just to have something different. And then we got the large lucky lamb ball. Continuing to work at that. Left. There we go. Alright, you're still working at that. That's fine. Okay, the Azure main did get to work on that. How we looking? Okay, so we've got the Fengloop Lutz and Azure main both working on... Well, I think it's that. I did get the right name, right? Actually, I can just check over here real quick. Yeah, Azure main. Might need to improve their work speed as well. Oh, I remember what I was doing now. Wrong base. I wanted to get more crude oil production. Encoding overload. Jeez. Okay, yeah. Let's see. What can I tone down? I don't want to drop anti-aliasing, but that would be the easiest way to get frame rate back. You know what? For the sake of... Oh, jeez. It's having to re-render everything. That made it worse. Okay, that made it substantially worse. How is taking away anti-aliasing killing my frame rate? What? Is it because you're having to re-render everything without aliasing? What? I am so very confused as to why that happened. Okay, usually hitting the anti-aliasing buttons. Why is it still saying encoding overloaded? Huh. Not dropping frames, it's just keeping a terrible frame rate. Weird. Okay, so I wanted to just get to the extractor build button so that I could grab the material. Why did the frame rate just tank? Huh. My file manager having problems? Oh, data disk has plenty of data in. Well, it has plenty of room. Huh. Alright, you guys can have fun with that. Let's just go out into a part of the world that doesn't have as many pals in it, perhaps. Just go to a more abandoned part. Literally anywhere to get away from everything. What does the system monitor say? This is a Linux PC, so that you can blame me. Okay, my GPU is just maxed out to hell and back, that's why. It's literally just my GPU starting to crumble under the pressure. This game has been going for a while. Let's see. Oh yeah, I'll need to go and grab Lylene. I mean, some pals with higher work efficiency can make it pretty fast. It's about managing pals and making perfect work. Yep, and that is the thing. There's always something that can be improved. It feels like even as I am minding my own business, just slowly whittling away at stuff. As I just hit that button so you start getting your health back. It feels like there's just always something that I can work on. Which, well, for better or worse. Which makes it fun. Where I have a particular idea in mind for how I want to spend my time. And then I actually start going, well, and then I actually start playing, and then I realize there's a ton of other things I want to see too. And then, well, we end up just down one rabbit hole after another. Okay, there's got to be a way to deal with what I'm... Okay, why is it encoding overloaded? Do you not like that I'm sending this to my... Well, you know what? Here's what I'm going to try. I'll kill the local recording real quick and switch it over to my SSD. I wonder if that'll change anything. Oh, yep, that was exactly the problem. Because it's saying stopping recording, which means that my hard disk is the thing that wasn't able to keep up, and it just backlogged the GPU. Great. Okay, I guess I have to use the recording outlet, the recording partition on my SSD instead. Alright, that's fine. As soon as OBS lets me, I'll go ahead and take care of that. I just have to deal with... I don't want to do too much until that's ready, though. Recording. Well, I guess we can just wander about. At least I'll have the stream version, even if it'll be 30 FPS for a while. Good lord. What sort of trouble can I get myself into? Well, I guess I can hit this button for a bit. Yeah, why not? What does that bring you up to? Not bad. Not bad at all. Okay. Is there anything else I wanted to see to? Actually, this might not be about time to call it, actually. Is there anything else I wanted to work on? Probably not. Let's see real quick while I'm diagnosing things. The size of the local recording hasn't increased all that much. Yeah, let's destroy my frame rate even further. Yeah, that'll go well. Well, okay. Oh, the local recording finally wrapped up. Okay, cool. Let me switch. Yeah, and that... Frame rate's still atrocious, but let me switch over to... you're not gonna let me switch recording paths? Ugh, that's annoying. Well, guess we'll just have to make do. Damn. You didn't see anything. Better go deal with that real quick. Syndicate raid, huh? Instead of just Wild Pals? Alrighty. Why? Frame rate, why? They higher level than the last time I've had to deal with stuff like this. Interesting. Actually, in this case, encoding overloaded might just be from the recording folder being open. It's not at this time. Alright, it's just gonna be 30 FPS. Alright. What did I do differently this time? Well, to be fair, streaming. Can't easily change the encoder right now, so I'll just have to grin and bear. Come on, you. Oh! Did system monitor fix itself? Nah, it's still maxed out GPU. Never mind. Yeah. You good? Yeah, you're good. Alrighty. That should do it. Alright, step back into base. Sort everything back where it needs to be. There we go. Oh. How are you eating that quickly? I hope that's just for one berry. Well, one thing of baked berries anyway. Either way, let's see. Has this been worked on? Oh, it has been. Nice. I guess assigning Celine to, well, assigning greater handiwork seems to have done the job, relatively speaking anyway. And making sure that we had a pal dedicated to just moving stuff around. Perfect. Alrighty. So, let's see, I think at this point, is there anything more that I wanted to show off while I'm here, apart from me unloading randomly? Yeah, that's probably all I can need to show off right now. So, yep, that'll do. That'll do. So, let me just go find somewhere scenic. Let's see, what would be a good scenic spot? Oh, actually, yeah, perfect. Yeah, let's really make the frame rate chug. Do it still be like Pokemon, or do Nintendo make it not to be? It never. Well, it is and it isn't like Pokemon. The creature design, you could argue, but gameplay loop-wise, very different beast. It is still as it was, apart from one minor change. Alright. This looks like a nice view. So, is there anything more I wanted to talk about or show off? I think that covers everything of import. So, neat little game. Plenty of places to explore, plenty more still that I can see to before it's fully wrapped up, but all in all, I have been quite satisfied with it so far. Quite satisfied with it indeed. Current performance issues notwithstanding, though I think that's more my PC than the game itself. Either way, so I think this will be where we call the stream then, because my voice is starting to really hate me, so, and I think I've given a good sense for what the game is like and what I've been up to in it, and honestly, I've been having a really good time with this. As I said in the response video I put out, it came out at the same time as the last day at my old job, and I have to be careful how much time I spend with it, otherwise it just completely eats up my day. And I really do mean completely eats up the day, my gosh. This thing is addicting, especially since a group I'm a part, well, especially since one of my social groups created a server where you can jump in and at any time, and since that it's persistent, you do have to worry about medicine more so than you would in a single player environment, but it also means you actually get more resources as well, so interesting balance on that sense, especially with the guild system, if you don't mind limiting the number of bases you have. So a grand old time can be had, especially if you want to all jump in on a particular boss fight all at once. So fascinating stuff. Pocket Pair have definitely got a neat little game on their hands, and I am very much looking forward to talking about it in more detail if I can figure out the right words for it over on the review channel. So, yeah, good times all around. Good times all around. So, let's go ahead and talk about future plans then. So, if this is the first time that you're seeing me, whether it be from the video response or this stream, I am a YouTube hobbyist, is what I typically refer to myself as. I have a couple different channels, one that's dedicated explicitly to game reviews, this one which is effectively my main at this point, where I do a variety of stuff. So Saturday streams, usually on some particular game, video responses every once in a while, as well as occasionally offline playthroughs that I'll upload back up here. So that's typically what you'll see. Occasionally there will be video essays either here or on the review channel as well. And over the next, well, for the short term, my focus has been on, well, besides the time that I've been spent just being eaten up by Palworld, lol, same on the, on the eating up your entire day if you're not careful? Yeah, pretty much. So, on that count, so apart from Palworld, I've also been spending a lot of time trying to wrap up Fire Emblem Engage, because, well, at least offline, I wanted to make a fairly big video on that over for the review channel, and realized, okay, yeah, you really want to get this sorted before Fire Emblem Fortune's Weave is out, don't you? So, because of that, my focus has been, well, when I'm not spending time on Palworld or video editing, I've been spending it trying to get through that, just wrap up the remaining gameplay that I want to see to there, which has been going smoothly. I've knocked out, I think, about half of it by this point, and should be able to knock out the remainder of it over the course of the next 2 or 3 weeks, so no problems there. Apart from that, so with Fortune's Weave on the horizon, I've been avoiding committing to any one particular game as far as what I'm doing on the Saturday stream, so it's been a variety of stuff. So checking out a bunch of different Star Fox games, I think that was the last stream. Doing a bunch of react streams as well on stuff that's both viewer requested and which caught my eye. Whether it be something that makes sense to do for a response video, or whether I just find the topic interesting. Ended up having some fun with a couple of videos, one viewer requested, one I pulled up, that ended up taking much longer to look at than expected. So next week I'm planning on doing a react stream. So a viewer recommended a video that goes into a lot of the lore regarding Palworld, which is something that I haven't had as much time to dig into, as if we go over to the menu, we do have stuff like the journals, but as you can see, I have not found very many of them. And there is a ton in here that I could probably really dig into if I really wish to. So, on that count, it may be worth it on my side to see how many of them I can find, relatively speaking, especially since there's also a lot of the PAL effigies that can be searched for as well. But that should be an interesting video to look at that day, and apparently, the tweet that sent me down the rabbit hole that led to the video response, the most recent one, thank you all for the support on that. My gosh, it's surprising to me how much attention that got, though, given the success of the game, and apparently the person in question I was responding to has a bit of a history online, to put it mildly, but thanks to that, the video's done surprisingly well. Great, I very much appreciate that, and apparently the tweet that sent me down the rabbit hole in the first place was made by someone who also does YouTube videos, and had jumped on the bandwagon, as it were, giving that guy grief for his hot takes on Palworld before me, so it might be worth looking back to see what he has to say for himself too. So, should be an interesting time there. Might have time for a couple other small videos then, and that'll most likely be the stream next week. Apart from that, let's see, is there anything else worth mentioning? Let's see. Oh, sorry. I'll tab out real quick. What else did I have written down? Let's see. Oh yeah, we'll have that to figure out. But either way, another thing that was mentioned is that I had mentioned as part of the response video that I've been working on a video game. Thankfully, there's less urgency on that count, as in the time it took for me to get the response video sorted, I was able to find a job, or get a job offer, so that will be starting in a couple of weeks. So the pressure is off with respect to, hey, you have been working on a video game, but you aren't compelled to work on it as the last-ditch effort, which, thank God, because at the pace I'm going, it's probably not going to be done for a couple of years. I think I do want to show it off at some point before it's released. Show some of the coding I'm doing, some of the design aspects, and what some of my ideas are. Though, I'm not entirely sure when I'll be able to do that, as right now it's very much in a trying to establish the underlying systems phase, and I don't even have a good visual style, if any, set up for it, where for the game engine that I'm using, there's a particular object I'm using to sort out each individual section. Well, just to say, hey, here's a set of information that you need to know, and I haven't even done anything of this sort. Well, right now it's just a series of text that's not even properly aligned, let alone anything that has any sort of style or theme put onto it. So it would not be pretty from a usability standpoint if I showed it off now, though I think it may be funny in a way, especially given the contrast with how much crap Pirate Software got back in the day, to just go in, with a video, say, hey, I'm gonna do a game dev stream. What are we gonna do first? The boring crap, unit testing. I think that could be really funny if I led with that. Just prove a point of, no, we're not here to have fun. I'm here to work and show off my work. So, and it's going to be very technical as well. Although I have heard some indie devs concerned about posting stuff or talking about what they're doing out of fear that it gets, well, scooped up by an AI, well, by AI and turned into slop, but and that is a concern, to be fair, especially if you're well known in the industry as an indie darling. But, and to be fair, if it's picking it up, I mean, well, hard to say how much that's a concern given the circumstances, as of right now, I would only be able to show off, hey, here's the inspiration I've taken from, and here's what I'm trying to recreate right now before I add on something new, so I don't know how useful it would be even if I did show off anything, but still, I don't know whether that will be the last week of August or before Fortune's Weave comes out, but I do want to do a game dev stream at some point. And I think it makes sense to try and fit that in before Fortune's Weave completely demands my time. Speaking of which, since I keep talking about that the release is on the 17th, which is a Thursday. I'm thinking I'll just stream once then. At that point, I'm going to be spamming them. And in order to prevent them from just overwhelming this channel, since that, as you can see, I'll post very infrequently, whether it be scripted content, unscripted, as for the name's sake, or a live stream. Since that I don't post or stream super regularly outside of, well, super frequently, I should say. Regularly, yes. Frequently, no. Yeah, AI is getting pretty bad. It has its place. Honestly, it might be worth making a video on the subject because there seems to be two different there seem to be two different ways that AI is getting used. One as assistant, one as independent operator. And I think a lot of the problems people are having is when people try and use AI as independent operator and run into all the pitfalls of, oh, I'm trying to do this fancy thing and it's technically getting a solution, but is it a solution that can be maintained? No. But anyway, that's getting a bit off tangent. Or on tangent, depending on how things look, because I have experimented a little bit with respect to AI as assistant, where it's a matter of, hey, I have this particular problem, can you debug this? Or, hey, I want to confirm that this is standard operating procedure for how objects should be arranged, and confirm that that I'm approaching this with the right mindset. And in that respect, I feel that it does have a place. It has been useful in that light to make sure that I have a good grasp on how things work with the game engine I'm using. But still, you definitely, AI as independent operator, no, that's, vibe coding is not going to get you anywhere. Agentic is going to backfire in the long run for anyone who tries it. Arguably, you rely on it too much, you'll price yourself out of your own market. So, it's going to be fascinating to see where the technology ends up. Thankfully, well, I do worry about that too because I am a software guy, but thankfully it's not something I have to worry about yet. I'm kind of surprised at how quickly I was able to get a job offer, though it was also circumstances that, what's the right word for it? It was also circumstances that were unusual on top of that, so that made it both easier and harder in a sense. But either way, all that to say, the pressure's off and I can take my time with it. So, at some point, so I think I've rambled enough about overall logistics. Let me just look through my notes here, make sure I've got everything. Let's see. Yep, I think that's everything of import, so I think the only other thing to add is that once that the Fortune's... So, oh yeah, I was talking about Fortune's Weave. So once I've started streaming that, the release stream will be over here, but all future streams of that will be over on a separate channel labeled as the Game Dungeon, where I can just spam streams over there without inflicting spam over here. Now, during that time, I'll probably be streaming this even during the Saturday slot, so I'll likely be reliant on pre-recorded content for a little bit over here. I've got a playthrough I can wrap up that should suit the purpose just fine. Well, a couple that I could wrap up in theory, but so that might shake things up a little bit in about a month from now. But all in all, plenty to look forward to. As for how often you can expect more video responses, Most of the time, it's just whenever the mood strikes or there's something fascinating that I want to look at. So, in the case of the Palworld video, it is as I described, where I saw a conversation happening on Twitter. I dug further, found hilarity, wanted to talk about it. And that's usually how they start out. There's something that catches my eye, and I want to talk about it. So, they happen on a whim. It's a matter of what's going on, and am I willing to prioritize it? So, either way, there's bound to be plenty more on the horizon. There's always something going on worth talking about, so just a matter of figuring out what, even as I'm trying to get stuff sorted for the review channel. Because honestly, this stream's been good to try and get a sense for, okay, if I wanted to talk about it on the review channel, what should I focus on? Especially since I haven't been able to post there in a while. Either way, I feel like I've rambled on enough, so thank you all for joining me, and thank you all for the support on the Palworld response video. I've been shocked at how well that's done, because I think we've got... That is going to be... Hang on, I just want to check something real quick. So, give me a second. Yeah, it looks about right. So, yeah, the support on it is going to easily exceed the peak daily viewership I've received on any video ever. That is insane. Wow. And by a large margin, too. I'm not going to top this for a while, am I? Nice. Either way, enough of that. Thank you all for stopping by. Hopefully this was as entertaining for you as it was for me, just getting to explore, getting to watch as the game crumbles under the pressure of my GPU just going insane. I wonder if it's a thermal issue, actually. Might be worth... Yeah, it might be worth taking the blow dryer to it, get all the dust off. Yeah, I'll have to go digging into it and figure out what's going on with my computer, but either way, good to know that this is a problem. At least it hasn't dropped frames, it just lowered the frame rate, so at least I know it's not a connection issue. Either way, thank you all for stopping by. Thank you all for... Oh, you have something to say? My cat just decided to join at the last second. You doing okay? Yeah, you're annoyed at me for ignoring you, aren't you? Okay, I better wrap up then. Thank you all for stopping by. Next week we will have a react stream talking more about Palworld, as well as a couple other things if we have time. So till then, thank you all for stopping by.